Let's talk about snacks, baby. Let's talk about popcorn and cheese.
What is that from?
I just made it up.
I swear I've heard that. Not the words, but like that tune.
Popcorn and cheese.
Let's talk about sex. Is that what the song goes?
Oh yeah.
Steamy.
No peeksies. Don't peek.
I love the sizzling sound on this. It just makes me hungry.
Yeah.
Some steaks. Welcome back to the Okayest Cook podcast. I am Chris Whonsetler, your host, and joined once again by Colton and Andy. We are down a member yet again, and I'm slacking real bad. I don't have a Skyblast question.
It's okay. We can talk about what we've eaten.
What we will do that on time this episode. Do you guys have a random Skyblast question?
I'll do this. So you get one snack for the rest of your life.
Oh, dang.
And it's anytime you're going to eat anything that's not a meal and it's a snack, this is what it magically appears. And that's it forever.
And that's the only thing you can ever have.
Ever again.
You can still have normal food though. This is only
Other food,
snack.
I'm not talking about like oh, I'm going to have a snack. Boom.
All
So
right.
it's always going to
Easy.
be a salty snack. It's always going to be a sweet snack. It's always going to be
Yeah, so you don't get
this
one
one thing.
thing.
Golly.
I know.
Yeah.
Do you have one?
Yeah, I got a couple I could do.
I mean, which one's your like a go-to? It's all that's the last one forever. Which one?
My homemade kale chips.
Kale chips.
So
Every time.
My mind.
They're really just a vehicle to house salt.
salt.
So, yeah.
It's a salt vehicle.
just salty.
So Colton's going with the salty choice.
My mind instantly went to the recipe I'm going to share at the end of this episode. So my Smoky ChexMix. Mm-hmm. But that is going to destroy my heart.
Yeah, you'll die.
So after thinking about that for 2 seconds, I thought, man, like a Honeycrisp apple and peanut butter.
Yeah,
I could be okay with that for a long time.
I would probably go with the dried fruit. Probably mango.
Dried fruit. Oh, I do like a good mango.
Dried mango.
Yes.
It's a good
I'm
snack.
rethinking my choice right now.
Well,
Apple sounds good. I snack on apples.
Dude, a
I have
Honeycrisp
like
apple.
two
you
and
chose
peanut
kale
butter?
chips.
Yeah.
Nerd.
But you said magically appear, and what I don't like about them is the work it takes. So if they just magically appeared in front of me.
That's fair.
Yes, that's hilarious. Yeah, maybe we can find a loophole for sharing snacks down the road. But until then. Well, speaking of snacking, what did you guys eat?
I'll go first because
Okay.
I'm very excited about this one.
Okay, go.
Again, I mentioned last episode, Sierra's been cooking a lot more. She's been experimenting. She did a homemade flatbread out of her sourdough starter. For the sauce, she did a pesto made from our garden basil and pine nuts. And then she did, and I've never had anything like this, but peach burrata.
Okay.
So fresh Georgia peaches from the peach truck, burrata, which first time I've had it. It's like fresh mozzarella, but it has cream in the center.
Okay.
So when you like bite into it, it like
Explodes.
Yeah.
Nice.
But peach burrata with the pesto was awesome.
That's
It's
awesome.
probably
it's not my food of the week, but at Amelia's local pastry shop, I had a peach Gouda
Ooh, that sounds
pastry,
good too.
and it was like it was a puff pastry with peach in the middle, and
I got to try. I got to get into this pastry thing.
No, it was brie. It was brie. So peach brie and some like raspberry.
It's my second favorite semi-soft cheese.
The brie peach combo was like shockingly good.
Yeah.
Dude, fruit and cheese, like
Yes.
there's a cheesemonger on Instagram that I'm dying to get on. Like I love listening to her talk about like comparing cheeses and just weird cheeses. So
Nice.
future episode.
No.
My food was actually what's in front of us. So I'm going to defer to Andy.
Okay.
We'll come back.
Actually, I'm gonna go with an oldie but a goodie. This is one I've gotten back into making more and more of that I used to make all the time. But I love myself some overnight oats.
Ooh.
And so what I like about
We've talked
overnight
about
oats,
this?
yes. But this last one I did, the reason why I'm excited about this one is I've always done it with like flax seeds and like a bunch of chia seeds and things like that. So it's good stuff for your tummy tum. But this time around, I actually had some. I put in more banana than I normally do. And then I also put in a bunch of blueberries into it.
Yeah.
And it was like I've always gone like the nutty like peanut butter. And this one I still put peanut butter in it and some honey. But like this one I wanted to more of like a fruity flavor, and so I loaded it up with some blueberries, and I really liked it. So I think the next one I'm going to do is blueberries, strawberries, just a lot more fruit based.
Yes.
So I forgot to tell you this. I've been doing your overnight oats.
Oh yeah, nice.
Because on the weekends when I'm watching Charlotte, it's like the perfect thing.
It's a good snack too.
Feed her in the morning. For those of you that don't know, it's my 1-year-old daughter. Feed her in the morning, but then I just like snacking on it too.
So good. I mean, I'll go by and just like literally open the jar and just grab a spoonful of it. Just passing. It's a great snack.
But I did blueberries in mine too.
Yeah.
We need to talk after the episode because I need to figure out what you do. Mine did not turn out as good as what yours sounds.
That was so good.
Yeah, my twins love blueberries, so we've always got them on stock.
Nice.
So just handful here, handful there.
Good antioxidants.
So we'll talk about this later. But awesome little pick me up snack. So my meal of the week I actually made today, and my buddy John Wallace actually came up with this recipe, and it is.
Oh shit!
No way!
No way! You forgot about this?
I forgot about this. Dove popper sushi.
You didn't forget about this. Okay, so behind the scenes, quick take. This guy was like, we were talking about, do we have any snacks for the snack episode? And he's like, I don't know if I do or not. Oh, I forgot about this. And this guy's got sushi rolls here.
Legitimately forgot about it. I made them. So
that looks so good.
So John Wallace, Wild Game Cook, is the inventor of this Dove popper sushi recipe. You can find the recipe on his website.
So pretty. Yeah, I'm taking pictures.
wildgamecook.com. Shameless plug, I helped him film the video for this Dove popper sushi. And I did not top it with sauces because I know how Andy feels about sauces and how the sauce will break the meal from a macro standpoint.
Well,
so
agreed.
I've got Yum Yum sauce,
yes,
if you would like. And then I've got sushi sauce, which I assume is like an eel sauce.
Yeah, it looks like eel. It usually is
unagi sushi sauce.
Yeah. Unagi, that's going to be savory.
I'll be honest, you need to look at the video that John has on this Dove popper sushi because his Yum Yum sauce is way better than this bottle of stuff I got from Meyer. This is way too thin.
Put that Japanese barbecue sauce on there too.
Oh yeah.
And I've got sesame seeds. So dive in. All the flat ones are the same, just kind of very standard Dove popper. So it's got jalapeno, cream cheese, bacon, and Dove inside of a sushi roll. The ones that are standing up on their end have Honeycrisp apples alongside of all the same ingredients. So try it solo. Try it with the sauce. Do the eel sauce.
That is phenomenal.
Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of this particular Yum Yum. It's good, but there's way better options out there.
I cannot believe you almost forgot about this. What would you have done tomorrow? Oh yeah, I forgot about it. Did you make this?
I would have had them for breakfast probably. Yeah, so try it out. Tell us what you think. Tell John what you think because he's gonna love a good response here for the snacks. Is this a meal or is this a snack? By the way,
I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
I love sushi though.
The apple is solid inside of that.
So I need to work on the proportions. So I know some of them.
Did you roll this? You rolled it yourself?
Yeah, I did. Yep.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Watch John's video. He's got some great tips. I do not have a bamboo mat, so it's really just.
Oh really? You does without that?
You what?
Okay, with the Yum Yum sauce.
Yeah. Well, that's the eel. Yum Yum. This is the Yum Yum. The white stuff.
So this is
it's good, but it's not.
The Dove is in there too.
Yeah.
And it just kind of cooked rare. Is that what it is? Okay.
Yep.
And then
Probably
chilled.
a little bit more medium rare.
Chilled down then.
Yep.
That's solid.
So have you guys had Dove before today? Oh, and here's some napkins.
Yes, it's delicious, but it seems like a lot of work for a little amount of meat.
But I would argue that it's one of the best wild meats. Like it's hard to compete with duck. Andy and I have had this conversation. It's hard to compete with deer just from a quantity standpoint. But if we're just basing everything off of flavor, I think Dove is up there. Like probably number one. With like a really fat mallard or pintail being number two.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love deer though.
I do, yeah. But it's just different, yeah. And until you've had it, like it's hard to explain. So
This is amazing.
yes.
I'll talk to you guys next episode. I'm just going to eat the rest of this one.
Cole was just saying how hungry he was, so. It's good without the sauce too. Like it's like solid. Like I love the jalapeno, and it's awesome. All right,
I think I'm not a fan of this jalapeno. I
It's
think
mild.
it's super mild. I need one that's a bit hotter.
You need mine from my garden.
I do.
They'll melt your face off.
Yes. Well, oh man, yeah, this is good. This is hitting spot right now. Nice and chilled to perfection, but yeah, John, thank you so much for this recipe.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's
We're
amazing.
fans,
Yep.
and yeah, if you're listening,
good.
If you're listening, I'm sorry you have to hear us chew, but
I'm not sorry because I'm telling you what. Like
But
this
yeah.
is one of those I think that we need to do more of these taste testing things on here.
I just don't like listening to the chewing. But
No, I know.
If,
but-
if you're only listening, go to wildgamecook.com and look at this recipe because it's beautiful. It's like it's not your typical sushi. There's nothing raw in here. The bacon's cooked, the dove is cooked. So, and like follow up to the last episode, sushi is somewhat taboo because people are afraid of it being raw.
I'm sending this to Frank.
To Frank, yes. Tell me what he thinks.
Brother-in-law Frank will like this.
So, so nothing raw in here.
Right.
It's cooked dove, cooked bacon. And
So
I guess
good.
The veggies raw, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So,
Right on.
Yeah,
Well done, sir.
food of the week.
Well done, sir.
All right, we gotta step up our game, Andy.
I know. I brought jerky from the gas station. And this
Yes,
guy's
the
got
most-
dove sushi.
the most dehydrated
I brought
jerky I've ever
Keurig
had.
coffee.
Yeah.
Chris is over here making like gourmet sushi.
I mean, I'm hosting you. I gotta treat you well
I
here.
appreciate it. So I'm really excited about this episode in general, just because, especially coming off a couple episodes ago, talking more about I'm being a little bit more intentional about what it is I'm snacking on these days.
Yeah.
and trying not to pull.
I'm gonna be.
trying to get back onto not having as much processed food in general.
Yeah.
Because when you think of snacks, it's really easy to start thinking about, grabbing a bag of chips, that sort of thing, and you can make homemade chips, and their chips can be really good. But there are so many other recipes, and Colton did a lot of the homework on our notes here, and I really like where this is going to go today.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the things that we talked about with Caitlin was this for that. Instead of grabbing the processed bag of chips, like you can go a long way with grabbing some like dehydrated meat, whether it's jerky or even just like one of my favorite snacks, and this is legitimately true, is I'll make as part of my meal prep, I'll make a whole bunch of like chicken thighs, right? Nice. And I love cold chicken thighs. Like cold chicken breast isn't as good, but like grabbing a chicken thigh and ripping it in half and just having that as like a little snack, little pick me up. That protein hit is so much better for you, and also I feel like lasts longer than if you're just grabbing a processed snack out of the pantry.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the thigh is closer to like a turkey, right? Like is it
it's dark meat.
darker
It's dark meat.
It is dark meat.
It is dark meat. So it is if you trim a lot of the, it can be
It's a little
fattier.
bit more rich,
Yes, a
fattier.
lot richer. But also if you trim a lot of the fat off, you can still get a lot of that richer like flavor of the darker meat, as opposed to like the dryness of because like cold chicken breast is going to be a lot drier to get through.
Yeah.
This still holds in a lot more of its flavor and stuff. And
Yeah,
I just
and
do basic salt, pepper, and some garlic powder.
Yeah.
Keep it real simple, and then I'll use that for meal prep. I'll cut that up and put it on things as well. But again, in a pinch, just grab a piece of chicken.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about this next episode with sandwiches, but like a cold Thanksgiving turkey, like almost exact same. Like
Right.
I just eat it straight from the fridge.
Right. Just go in there,
So easy.
snap off the piece.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, love it.
Okay. Well, back to it. Champ, what's next?
What's next? I'm just thinking about another sushi bite. So Colton's got to talk here. So Colton, when you think snacking, obviously we're trying to be a little bit more health conscious here. Like, what are you trying to avoid? What are you gravitating towards? Like when you're actually thinking about eating properly.
And Andy said this on previous
Quickly,
episodes
on the
before.
go.
It's kind of about your goals, right? And so I have probably a similar goal to Andy. I'm just trying to focus on less processed, more whole snacks. Been working out, so a little more like health and weight conscious. Like one of the biggest changes I made is like I'm a notorious nighttime snacker.
Yes.
And I started doing the math on like if I just snack on crackers and whatever, because I think that's going to be a lighter choice where I'm not consuming as many calories or whatever. It ends up being way more than if I were to just make another meal. So I've started just doing a couple eggs as a snack, or instead of any sort of dessert or anything, I just do fruit.
Right.
So like at night, instead of making a big bag of popcorn, watching TV, I'll just cut up an apple or make an egg or something.
The other thing too, we talked about this before in previous episodes. If you're trying to curb back on your snacks, water. You're probably dehydrated more than anything else. So fill yourself up a big glass of water, chug that bad boy down, and then have your snack.
Yeah.
But I promise you that'll help satiate that feeling, and you'll eat less because of it. So.
And another big one for me too is just snacking on more protein. Anyone that starts tracking macros is probably severely under eating on protein. Would you?
Oh, 100%.
That's
100%.
Pretty common trend.
I would say
that's
no.
what Caitlin's in.
I mean,
Andy.
Yeah.
Doesn't sometimes.
Yeah. If you, I promise you're probably not eating enough protein unless you're tracking it, because it's really hard to get it in. To be honest, if you're trying to get what your body needs, it's really hard to get in. So so protein becomes a really good snack source for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jerkies, a lot of
jerkies.
cold
Turkey.
Yeah.
The things you got to be careful of, like we have on the list here, looking at like pastrami, summer sausage, sushi, things like that. The thing you have to be careful of with snacking on meats, especially if they're deli based, like what we're talking about there, is there tends to be a lot of fat in that. So
and salt
and fat. So like talking about like those are your sodium count. I would also say that most people, while you're not eating enough protein, you're probably having way too much sodium in your diet as well. Not that
I don't know what you're talking about.
Depending on like if you're a runner, if you're a hard worker, if you work out a ton, sodium is necessary for you to recover. But most people aren't doing all of those things that proper way. So those are the only things you want to be cautious of. So this is where like, again, lean meats, jerkies, things like that tend to be, you're putting yourself in a much better position. But then like if you go a straight summer sausage, it's got like, like the one that I brought over, it's got cheddar and jalapenos and stuff, and it's so good, but might be a little higher in fat than you want it to be. So, but yeah, I mean, you guys garden. So I feel like, there's bowls of fruit and vegetables all over the place in this house.
scattered about.
Just scattered about. So I feel like that's got to be a pretty good like go-to snack for you guys.
Yeah.
Lately, I'm trying to be like Colton. A little bit less of the working out thing. I'm trying not to eat nasty stuff. So I'm trying to like avoid the candies, trying to avoid, anything obviously sweet and fatty. So having just a bowl of fresh cherry tomatoes straight from the garden on the table is like just so stinking good.
Yeah.
And specifically the sun-drop tomato I just started growing this year is, I don't know if that's like a standard name. It's a yellow tomato, but it's really sweet. So it's like almost too sweet kind of a tomato. But just, man, you just walk by the bowl, you grab 2 or 3 of those and just crank on those instead of grabbing a handful of M&Ms or whatever.
Right.
Well, that's back to Andy's point about water too. A lot of the fresh stuff has a lot of fiber and water content in it.
Correct.
And that's what you're kind of meant to be eating. So when you don't eat that kind of stuff, then you're way more hungry and overeat on everything else.
Right. Yeah. And this is, we've talked a lot about meal prep too. So one of the things that you set yourself up for success, meal prep your snacks. Like you don't have to necessarily individually bag them out, but like if you're already cooking on Sunday and you're cutting stuff up, cut up those carrots, cut up the cucumbers, give yourself options. So when you go to the fridge, they're already there. Because if you're going to, take a raw carrot out and you're going to cut it up for your snack, your chances of you actually sustainably like doing that consistently are definitely much lower than if it's already done. So I think let's
make it accessible.
Yeah.
Make it easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And like one of the things we talked about with Caitlin too is like going in the deer stand and like switching out the different things that you can have there and how much better that'll make you feel in the long run. I think that was the thing that is, if it's there, you'll eat it. If it's not, you won't. Yeah. So, that's one of those things where if you're got a bunch of stuff in the pantry that you probably shouldn't, don't throw. I hate the idea of throwing away food just like everybody else, but maybe don't eat that stuff and get it out of your house. The other big trick to that is stop buying it. Don't stick to the perimeters. There's snacks on the outside too, minus rice. You can go inside for rice. I think that those are kind of like the tips and tricks too. Like I love the direction we're going about. Like how do we keep this about meats, veggies, that sort of thing. But then we have some miscellaneous boys that we'll definitely talk about because
there's some miscellaneous here. Yeah,
there's some good stuff coming. I love you. We put salsa on here. So this is the other big one too. Like,
that was Colton.
Oh, is it? Oh, Colton. Okay. So salsa, like, love myself some good fresh like salsa that's made. The issue that I end up having is like, how do I do it without chips?
That's fair.
Yeah, but
there is very strange few salsas. Yeah, I could just spoon eat.
Well, not
some
even
of
that, or like well, you like kale chips. My question was going to be,
Okay.
do you ever use your kale chips for that, or are they too brittle? I don't know.
They're
anything
too
about
brittle.
them.
Yeah, the kale chips are the ones you buy from the store, are, like way too thick. When I do it, I just buy fresh kale and make it, and it crumbles when you touch it. So
Gotcha.
it would not hold salsa.
Gotcha.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, salsa, it's a catch-22 because these things are ultra processed, but there's a lot of like alternative chips out there now. Like we eat a lot of, chips made from sweet potatoes. Or,
Right. Love myself a good sweet potato chip.
cassava flour,
Right.
all this weird stuff. But
Other ones, like I don't know much about it, but like think about what's the like naan bread, like naan, and then what's the pita, like basically like pita chips.
Yeah.
They're less based in fried oil and things like that, but like they're not fried, they're baked in that scenario there too.
Yeah.
Be good alternatives as well. But yeah, dude, I love a good salsa, love the raw vegetables. Mentioned hummus in here as well.
yeah.
Great vehicle then for that. The one that I can't do though is celery.
Really?
Hate it. Literally the dumbest food, really. It's like, do you like water and hair?
Water and hair.
Let me introduce you to celery.
I mean, kinda, yeah.
You know what? It's actually negative calories too. So you're literally working hard to eat this thing that sucks.
Okay, here's the thing, Andy.
No.
I hate celery. Have you ever got into juicing and just had straight celery juice?
No.
I crave it. It's hard to explain until you try it. Maybe I'll bring some next time. But
yeah.
a glass of celery juice, if you start having one like first thing when you wake up every morning, your body just starts to crave it. And we all know I love salt way too much. So
Yeah.
it's like a
Salt
salty,
water.
yeah, basically.
I do love the flavor of celery. So I've got celery powder that I put in a ton of stuff.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So yes. So like if there's like
You just don't like the active. It's texture.
it's
thing for you.
texture. Well, it's just gross.
I don't like celery unless I'll do it in like stew, but
Well, it's broken down. and
yeah,
you're getting
it's not all
yeah.
stringy. You're not eating like
Right.
raw hair.
No,
So.
exactly. Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. I could get behind some celery. Just celery and peanut butter.
You can have all the celery that I ever have.
I don't go full ants on the log. I keep the raisins off. But dude, celery and peanut butter. Oh yeah.
My wife's version of ants on a log is chocolate chips. So.
Chocolate chips and celery, I don't think can mix.
I think
but,
now we're offsetting the healthy profile of it.
But on that note, if we're like not thinking about health, dude, if you just take a spoonful of peanut butter and just dunk that into a bowl of M&Ms, dude, that is a snack right there.
We just got a glimpse into Chris's inner fat kid. Just like listen, just
He's there.
He's there.
He is
I
there.
did. Have you had your fluffernutter yet?
No, not yet.
I had that as a snack the other day.
We're gonna have to make one right
waiting.
now.
Yeah.
I've
Oh
got all the ingredients.
We're making one,
You can
dude. I had
feel
one.
free.
I had one a couple days ago as like a snack after dinner, and it was exactly what I wanted it to be. I almost sent you a picture because I was
You
like,
should have. You should have.
Dude, that's childhood staple
Oh,
like,
yeah.
to the extreme. But like,
Yeah.
definitely not good for you.
No,
It's 100%
Well, and
sugar.
That's the thing, like about snacking in general. Like, and I love that we're talking about this. Is like it is one of those things where, I mean, usually you're having a snack because either you're bored or you didn't get enough throughout the day, or you're thirsty, those sorts of things. But like it is a part of the, like you're gonna end up doing that ultimately. So the question is like, what are your goals? What do you want? But there's like we can talk about the bad ones a little bit too, because let's be real, like fluffernutters.
Where does peanut butter fall on that good to bad scale?
Depends on the peanut butter.
Depends on the peanut butter.
guess,
But so Caitlin is
Jeff.
actually a big proponent of what she talked about, the cheat meals. If you remember that conversation we had with Caitlin about like, hey, like now you're not going to be eating perfect all the time. You have to allow yourself to have that. But like a spoonful full of peanut butter is something that most nutritionists will take as a substitute for some of the other garbage that's out there.
Yeah.
Even if you're talking about the GIFs and like the ultra processed stuff. Now, if you get really into like made your own peanut butter, if you go to the store and you have a store near you that like you can actually watch them grind the peanuts into that, it's a little drier of a taste. But it's like anything else, is that once you get that like again, Caitlin talked a little bit about like once you get like some of the processed stuff out of your system, you start working more towards like real flavors. You'll have to start to identify that you actually don't like there's stuff in it's an engineered food versus something that's not engineered. But a spoonful of
You
peanut butter.
learn to like taste the chemicals and the preservatives.
Oh yeah, but I mean, think about that. A spoonful of peanut butter is going to have a lot more protein than most of your other crappy snacks.
More than M&Ms. Yeah.
More than M&Ms, and it's going to have it's got some fats in it, but it's usually good fats. It's not you're not going super crazy. It is typically loaded with some additional sugars, depending on which one. Like going back to what Colton said about which peanut butters you're eating. But I mean, again, I think I would take that midnight go-to thing of peanut butter over a lot of the other options that you might find in your pantry.
Better than most, but not perfect.
Right.
The peanut butter we eat now is like literally the only ingredient is peanuts. Like it's all the oils at the top. You got to mix it up every time.
Right.
With it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Love it.
So good though.
Yeah.
Onward. What's next?
Onward.
Keep going. This is a tasty episode.
Yeah, I think the direction I was going with some of this stuff is we talked about it. I mean, you can buy whatever snacks you want from the store, but this is Okayest Cook. What can we actually like make at home? Yeah. So, we talked about gardens, raw veggies and stuff. There's a lot of, and I know Andy, you said sauces kill meals, but there's a lot of homemade like fresher sauces you can make. That's why I threw salsa on there because you can literally. My neighbor just did this. Just went out to his garden and picked everything he needed other than the onion, and blended it all up. And it wasn't like loaded with sugar like the salsa from the store, but it was just a fresh medley of stuff. And salsa is used pretty loosely too. Like we do all sorts of different salsas to like top fish and chicken. And
so I want to back up on the sauce comment because what I'm getting at is the different if you're doing sauces that tend to have something sort of sweet flavor to them, that's usually where you're going to have that's where you're going to get hidden calories. That's with the sugars and the extra fats of things. But hot sauces, so like hot sauce, tend to be the only thing you're going to have high on that is going to be more on the sodium side of things. So it might be a little salty.
Yeah.
But this is where like the other thing I learned for years of tracking macros was, when in doubt, just go hot. Like you can add flavor by just going hot, and instead of going to like the sweet or savory, those are the ones that get you into trouble. So to your point, go out to the garden, being able to pull all those veggies out.
Oh yeah.
You can make that'd be still. If you throw a jalapeno from from one of your jalapenos in there, that'd be a bomb salsa.
Yeah.
It doesn't need the rest, So yeah, sauces will just end up like taking or especially if you make chicken and rice and then you pour a bunch of barbecue sauce all over it, Sweet Baby Ray's. Well, it's like, well, now you've just added, you've just what you think you're getting, what you're actually getting, maybe not be the exact same.
But yeah.
No, but like fruits, like you guys are into dehydrating. Have you guys ever, I love dried mango. It's my favorite snack is dried mangoes. I said that was the one I was going to keep.
Yeah.
So but I've never dehydrated fruit. Have you guys ever dabbled in that?
No, but of all the dehydrated fruits, mangoes, like when I used to do backpacking and stuff more, I would take giant bags of dehydrated mangoes.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah, definitely have, but there's something about it. Like, I'm just not a fan of most dehydrated fruits. Like, I can tolerate like an apple, like banana chips, like kind of like you said. The flavor is not bad, but just like, I don't know, I just can't get behind a crunchy banana.
They're a good thing to put into other things though. Like if you're gonna put it into your overnight oats, dehydrated fruit.
Oh yeah, if you're gonna rehydrate it, it'd be good.
Yeah. I will say 100% would take the actual. Like I take a fully ripe real mango over dehydrated any day of the week. But that's not to say I do love the dehydrated.
For preservation's sake,
yeah. I love the freeze dried fruit too.
I would love to get into that.
So I feel like that's another really I don't know how it works, but
it's not something I think you can do at home. You can get a dehydrator. You can
get a machine for sure. Yeah,
they're expensive. Yeah, it essentially flash freezes all the liquid out of it. Yeah, at 99%. So dehydrated gets 90% of the liquid out, and freeze dried gets 99% out.
So I had some freeze dried strawberries, and I was like, it's an interesting texture. It's not
different.
like dehydrated. It's different, but it's I liked it. It was kind of chalky, but kind of, I don't know. It was really good.
I like it.
Good snack.
Yeah, there's a booth at our farmer's market that sells candies that have been freeze dried, and they swell up and they puff and they get almost what's this candy? It's like a chalky kind of really airy. That's like sugar. It's like caramel. It's a phase of caramel. That I forget. It's it's sugar, but it's filled with air, like super
Cotton
porous.
candy?
That's like foam. It's like candy foam.
That's awesome.
But it's really crunchy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just super
So good.
weird. But yeah, it's like I said, it's got the freeze drying does weird things to texture. And I think one of those the differences is like freeze drying. I think would make better powders.
Right.
So like that liver we were talking about, like if you freeze dried a liver, like that would make a much better
Powdered.
supplement powder versus like just dehydrating and grinding.
A lot of baking powders that are like flavored are dehydrated fruit,
Right.
like strawberry powder.
Well, I was just saying strawberry powder. I was thinking about like taking that powder from the freeze dried part of it and just sprinkling it over on your yogurt or something like that.
Oh yeah, if you made your own like dehydrated strawberry dust, like versus chocolate syrup or strawberry
Reminds me of,
syrup,
like some sort of like food like have you guys ever seen the Martian with
Yeah.
so like when it's like everything like free, like that's what it reminds me of, like it's like that would be the snack that you would have. It's unfortunately
Well, and so they make a lot of dehydrated meals, but if you've ever gotten like the Mountain Smith free dehydrated meals, a lot of them are freeze dried now for like backpacking and stuff. You just like add water to them and it cooks them.
yeah, I'd love to get one someday. Someday we'll get one.
Flash fry this sushi.
right.
Freeze dry.
Freeze dry the sushi for a backpacking trip. Yeah. Where were you going with that? So the dehydrated fruits and
fruits.
whatnot. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't done it much more than like apples and bananas, but doing a mango I think would be easy. I'll loan you my dehydrator. Yeah, if you want to try it out.
I know I still have to make that jerky. We're making jerky. I've got so much venison. I need to get through it.
Yeah. I fruit leathers I think I like a lot more.
What's that?
Just it's like it's just like you just make a jam, like
a
just
fruit
basically
roll
just
up.
blend it up.
Like fruit roll up.
Add a little gelatin. Yeah, it is a fruit roll.
Yeah. Chris made some really good ones.
Yeah. I've got them. I made like a peach habanero. Yeah, kind of fruit leather, and that was really dynamite. But the problem there is I need to learn how to make it. I think I need different trays just to get the leather thicker.
Yeah.
The trays I have right now might be like a 1/4 inch tall or like deep. They're silicone trays that you can put in the dehydrator and like chock full of fruit. I mean, it still like dehydrates down like almost paper thin. So you almost have to do that like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times just to get like a decently thick fruit leather.
It was good though.
It's tasty, yeah.
I still have all my peaches from the peach truck. I just frozen. Or I did it
Frozen peaches. We do that a lot, yeah. So we've got frozen fruit whole in the freezer ready to go. Like we just do smoothies with that.
Oh yeah.
And lately that's been like a big snack of mine. It's just
smoothie.
blending up
That's a
fruit
good snack,
and
Yeah.
a little bit of yogurt, maybe.
Smoothie bowls too.
Haven't done that.
Yeah, just like keep it really cold and less water, so it's a little thicker, and then you can
Is that
put
like
some toppings on
an
it.
acai bowl?
Kind of like making
Kinda
your
the
own
same thing?
Yeah.
But then add like fresh fruit and stuff to the top.
Yeah.
And,
Keep the extra sugars out, and then it's not ice cream, because otherwise you're just talking about ice cream.
Keep the real sugar versus that store-bought sugar.
Well,
yes.
can we go like guilty pleasures now? I'm like, all right,
Yes.
so
I mean, this is a snack everyone came here for.
right. Yeah.
We don't want to hear about carrots and
yeah,
stuff. but-
yeah. We've all heard about carrots. Now let's talk about the
Well,
real
sorry,
deal.
real
Kale
quick,
chips.
real quick before we get into like the good snacks. How I know Caitlin said like it takes time to kind of retrain your body to stop craving some of the fattier things. Do you guys have any like tips or tricks? Like what might be almost a kind of a reverse gateway snack? Like if you're stuck on M&Ms and fatty things, chips late at night, like what might you say? Try eating this. It's not going to be the perfect snack, but it's a lot better than the fatty things. So like it's almost like you're trying to wean yourself off of
Yeah,
the fatty
we're talking about
things.
transitional snacks.
Transitional snacks. There we go.
It's like I'm in marketing. That's
buzzword.
So what is a transitional snack?
You got to mention this one, so I'll hop in here, but you probably go this way. But like, if you're a salty chip guy, or you like chips, or gal, sweet potato chips are a good start.
Sure.
So, just
So just getting away from like the
getting away from like,
bad oils.
Yeah, so if you're like bad oils, bad chips, they are. If you go to the chip aisle, you'll find sweet potato chips. Sweet potato chips it's just a healthier starting ingredient, and typically they're not as loaded down. And if you just read it to make sure you're getting something that's a little more natural, they're still chips, especially if you get baked sweet potato chips.
Yeah.
because they're baked and not fried.
Yeah.
You're just reducing oil out at that point, and those are good setups there. And again, I've already kind of said this one, but I can't harp on it enough. You're probably thirsty. So drink a giant thing of water, then have your snack, and then maybe you can hit another thing of water. And I promise you that you'll be satiated at that point. And you might have to have pee in the middle of the night if you want to get up to pee, but
it's worth it.
But it's worth it long term.
When I believe, I don't know if it was an episode or just random chit chat, but at one point you did mention put it in a bowl,
right?
A smaller bowl. Do not take the whole bag.
Yeah, that may have been. I don't know if that was me or if that was Caitlin or even Corey. Actually, it sounds like a Coreyism. But like, the smaller bowls. So this is one of the things. Like, I just got some new plates and new bowls and all that stuff. And I've got these new bowls, and I love them for snacks because they are just smaller. And I have this other one little bowl that like I usually use for. So if we're going to talk about guilty pleasure snacks, I love myself some gummy bears. So I may have a couple of stolen ramekins from local restaurants. But using that as opposed to just taking the bag, I mean, sets yourself up for
taking the whole bag is danger.
Yes.
So we need to chat offline, Andy. I've got a recipe to start making my own
gummy bears.
Yeah,
we'll chat with Corey. He's got it down. His own gummies.
Ignore me.
If you don't have a transitional snack on mind, we can just go to the guilty pleasures here.
Transitional snacks, sweet potato chips.
Transitional. That's where we're going. Okay, so like you were saying, for salty, for sweet, like I think fruit is a big one. Have any of you heard of a Ninja Creamy?
No.
Do you know what that is?
A Ninja Creamy.
No.
Creamy. Okay, so my wife is a big sweet tooth.
Yeah. Okay. So I know what this is.
Yeah. So, I mean, she will do like a scoop of ice cream every night. Like that's her guilty pleasure. Like she loves it. I got her this Ninja Creamy, which is a glorified ice cream maker, but it doesn't really make ice cream. You literally just freeze your liquid and then it somehow blends it up and makes it creamy.
It's almost like a creamy chippy thing, like ice chippy thing, but whatever you put in it.
Yeah, exactly. And we've literally just been doing we do really whole, healthy protein powder. There's like 4 to 5 ingredients in it. Just our protein powder with milk. That's it.
Yes.
And it makes good ice cream. So like talk about transitional snacks rather than having traditional ice cream. We're just having a glorified protein shake at night basically now.
Yeah. That's a really smart idea.
Yeah.
The fruit thing is the other thing that I feel like, especially if you're like, I like fruit, Andy, but I need a little more sweet.
Yeah.
Go get a thing of Cool Whip, like the tub. Start yourself. Don't grab the original. Grab the reduced sugar one. You be an adult. But grab that and then put a little bit of that as a base and then put the fruit over it. And then when you eat that with your fruit, it'll give you a little bit more of a sweeter touch, and kind of wean yourself back to eventually just being able to eat a bowl of another good go-to snack is like you guys keep a lot of frozen fruit on hand. Just a little bowl of frozen fruit. Just be able to kind of like, because that's frozen, so you're going to sit there, you're not going to necessarily just chomp through all of it. You can kind of like crush it up and kind of make it last. It slows you down a little bit, and that's another really good way to transition it. This one's also a little bit tricky on the transitional part too. Again, you have to have some self-control here because if you can ruin fruit real fast with this. But if the fruit's not sweet enough for you, like you would take a pinch of salt, take a pinch of sugar, and just pinch of sugar on top of that would sweeten it up just a little bit, and then start weaning yourself off of how much salt, or how much sugar you're putting on. And again, a lot of the reason why you've trained your body to like these certain levels of these sweetnesses. But if you were to be able to hit a magic reset button and just eat like raw stuff, like raw vegetables, raw fruits, things like that, if you were to have one of your normal sugary snacks, you probably wouldn't like it. It's probably too much.
You start to crave just the original.
Right.
But that's a good one too. I forgot to mention, we do fruit and cottage cheese a lot.
Yeah.
My dad was big on that. My wife doesn't like cottage cheese, so we don't ever have it.
Have you ever had Good Culture cottage cheese? So I do not like cottage cheese. I now like cottage cheese because we get this. It's called Good Culture. You can get it at the local store, but there's something different about the way they make it. It is 100 times better than regular cottage cheese.
Because I love normal cottage cheese. So.
Because if you get to like yogurt is another like one that you can use. You have to be real careful. Like I'd stick with the Greeks. There's one called 000.
That's what we do.
That people like a lot. It's got good protein count in it. It's a little. I feel like the sweetener's a little chemically tasting. So, but if you put fruit in it, it's not as bad then. But it's got good protein count. But again, these are the things that like we say go have some yogurt, but try to keep it Greek. Like you have to make sure that you're reading the labels, so you're not setting you don't think you're doing the greatest thing ever, and like why is it not working for me? It's like, well, we actually just picked the candy version of the good thing.
Yogurt's the big processed snack that we still do.
Yeah,
just because it is such an easy protein snack.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think
on the better side of some of the options.
So those transitional snacks are great.
Yes. Some guilty pleasures. Let's chat about this.
Talk about the
I already mentioned one of mine, peanut butter, and just shove it in a thing of M&Ms.
I love ice cream.
Who doesn't like ice cream?
So you need a Ninja Creamy.
I'm lactose intolerant, but I'm not a quitter. So I will eat ice cream. I don't care how it makes me feel because it is that good. So like Grater's ice cream.
You're a Grater's fan? Yeah.
Oh, Grater's ice cream. I mean, so
blackberry one.
Oh yeah. So fun fact.
Blackberry. Yeah.
Fun fact.
Black cherry.
But it's black. It's black raspberry. You guys are both wrong. It's black raspberry.
They have black cherry though.
They do have black cherry, but I'm telling you, it's what he's talking about. Is black raspberry.
That's the good one.
But remember I lived in Cincinnati, and so their Grater's is huge in Cincinnati and also in Louisville and things like that. But they didn't have it in Indy for a while. So when we moved back from Cincinnati, I literally when we went to Cincinnati, I would mule Grater's ice cream, legitimately coolers of Grater's ice cream back to Indianapolis. But
dude, there's something about like their
so mine's for sure ice cream.
Yeah.
Like
it's the like French,
huge
the French blow turn
chunks of chocolate.
Yep.
Just massive chunks of chocolate.
And it's so good. And they use a lot of dark chocolates there too.
Buckeye.
That Buckeye
peanut
Blitz.
butter.
It's Buckeye Blitz. Come on.
Gosh,
God, get on my level.
My guilty pleasures, I feel like, are not that guilty.
Well, you know, this guy's got kale chips. Oh, I just love them.
So the seaweed, you know what I'm talking about? The
seaweed salad?
Got some.
Which you can't eat that much of it because it's essentially just salt and oil. But, so I guess that's kind of guilty. But I love smoked salmon. Like that's my go-to guilty pleasure snack, and it's
like from the tear the sheet open and have at it.
Yep. But then my wife makes fun of me for this one. I'll just do like fried cheese. Like I'll heat up a skillet and just throw a slice of cheese on there.
Oh, and just like cook it in the pan?
Crispy cheese?
Just make it all crispy.
Yeah.
No.
You just
the cheese has oil.
Just scrape it off the pan.
You just let it melt down and then it slowly like turns crispy and then you just pull it right off. And
I love the crispy cheese bits on a smash burger.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I don't know if I would do a whole slice.
So have you ever had like in a Mexican restaurant where they do the cheese shell?
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's that, but just the cheese.
Yeah. Julieta's has that too.
They do?
Oh, I had it with my tacos. It was so good.
And it's easy to make at home. If you're just an okay cook, throw a slice of cheese on that.
Well, yeah,
we said guilty pleasure, not like weird pleasures.
My guilty pleasures are weird.
So if you put the cheese down and put the tortilla over it and let it cook into it, and then that becomes the hard shell. Like you can make like almost a hard shell with that cheese.
That's what I do for my tacos.
Yeah, so good. What's yours? So
peanut butter. My wife also buys these s'mores. Like they're like little like nuggety type things, but it's basically just chunks of marshmallow, chunks of graham cracker that have just been coated in chocolate. So they're like little s'mores bites.
S'more bites.
Like inhale those things. She
Yeah.
also buys chocolate covered almonds from Costco from time to time.
I'm glad you just said that. Just reminded me.
Dude, I can smash so many of those.
Albanese. So back to my favorite gummy.
Yeah, they're the best.
They make chocolate covered cherries. So they're and they're like it's like $16 a pound, and I don't care. Like I'm eating them. They're so good. That's another one that I go to like all the time. The other one that's like this is terrible. Like I don't even want to admit this on, but Reese's has out right now animal crackers that are dipped in like they're dipped in their peanut butter first.
Reese's
and then
animal crackers,
and they're dipped into chocolate.
Oh, I'd be into these.
Oh my god! When I was buying the jerky, I saw them on the shelf. I was like,
tell me
nope,
this.
not gonna get it. Don't get it. I should have got it for this, but to be like, and here's me being terrible.
So I had this debate with my 4-year-old. In your mind,
Who won?
he did. Yeah. In your mind, it is an animal cracker a cookie?
It's
or
a
a cracker.
It's a cookie.
It's a cookie, yeah.
My kid refuses to believe that because it says animal cracker on the
His
box.
logic is not his sound.
Crackers don't have that much sugar in them.
I looked it up, and it's literally like a different baking process. Like it is literally not a cookie. It's closer. Like if you just break it down to like the recipe,
how it's made.
it's more in line with a cracker than it is an actual cookie.
Just has a lot more sugar in it.
It's got to have a sugar.
Well,
it's just, it's like, I think it's one of those marketing ploys. Like, hey, how can we sell cookies but make people think they're not eating cookies? Mm-hmm. We just flip the recipe a tiny bit, and it's closer to a cracker, so we can call this cookie a cracker now.
And then Reese's says, you know what? We're gonna blow that
put
up.
chocolate, peanut butter.
Throwback to childhood. Did you ever have the animal crackers that were dipped in the icing with
pink ones?
sprinkles?
Yeah, absolutely.
So good.
Those are the best.
My other like go-to. This is in my freezer right now too. So like, is so Thin Mint Girl Scout cookies that are in the freezer.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And the hard part is I'll eat a whole sleeve, so I gotta be
easy.
careful.
Yeah.
Gotta be careful.
I can't buy them
Mint
anymore.
Oreos. Dude, that's my jam.
I can't buy any of this stuff because I will eat a whole pack.
Yeah.
No
So
control.
we don't even go down the snack aisle anymore because
No control.
if I go down that aisle, I will end up with like some nerd cluster gummies or something. You know.
It's another good one.
And
Nerd
like,
cluster gummies.
but like that's what these things were designed for. They were
engineered.
created to be addictive.
Engineered to be addictive.
Convenient enough that I can eat a whole sleeve of these Oreos. Why not?
Why not?
So,
But I mean, back to the whole meat thing. Like I know you said some of the like the cured meats and stuff have a lot of fat in them, but
Salt.
Like if you're gonna go nerd cluster gummies, or if I can whip out my log of summer sausage and just have a couple slices of that, that's gonna fill me up a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it is 100%. And then this goes back to like the goal is not to be perfect. The goal is like if you're having a snack, it's probably because you missed something else earlier. So again, like what are you going to do to make it so that you're satiated, but you're not, setting yourself up for, you're not blowing up everything you've done. So that's where it's like, and hopefully people, if you feel like you're snacking every single night, the question I'm asking is like, what are you going to change about your meal then, or meal times, or so that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Whether.
Well, honestly, like in our house, it's somewhat of a routine now, which is bad. So trying to break that routine, it's almost like, hey, like we get this reward for being alive and not punching any children at all today.
Well, and that's fair, and that's what alcohol's for.
That's another episode. Another conversation.
But the other thing to get around
trying
that,
to break that cycle of like it is a reward, but maybe not every single night.
Well, or substitute it with something else, like whether
Absolutely.
that's like going on a walk instead. Like just if you're spending that time doing something else, that's the other. It's a really easy thing to sit here and say. It's a hard thing to break.
Absolutely.
But this goes back to like, well, but if you're starting to try
If we're
transitional
trying- if we're
snack
trying to get better
and you
here.
go on a walk, it's like, all right, well now we've just killed some time and then you drank a bunch of water. It's like, well, it's like it's again like this is what I think Caitlin said this too. Like it's not it's this one meal. It's this one thing that you're doing. If you don't think about it, I'm never gonna have a salty snack again. That's not the goal. The goal is that
Just get through
I don't
today.
need it today. I don't need this one now.
Yeah.
Leave the Thin Mints in the fridge.
Yeah.
Or don't buy them.
Take one at a time.
No.
Back to the couch.
One at a time.
One
If you
Thin
have to
Mint,
get
not one
up.
sleeve. If you have to get up and go back to the fridge for each snack.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if we're going this direction transitionally, but I did want to mention, like we're talking about transitional snacks and stuff. So like I've got a couple that like we do in our family that are just easy homemade snacks. They're not the best, but they're better than other things. And like two of those are we roast some so kale chips are one, and then have you guys ever had roasted chickpeas?
No, we've talked about this I think a little bit.
Yeah, like those are two really easy ones if you just need like a salty snack at home. And you can do this with anything you want, and just like you do roasted veggies, but roasted kale chips, roasted chickpeas, or whatever salt you want on them, easy snack. For people like me that are addicted to salt, there's oil and stuff on them, but it's better than just grabbing a bag of chips.
Oil addiction's a lot better than the fatty sugar addiction.
I don't know. They both do things that are negative.
Different bad things.
Different bad things, but no, but it's true. It's like again, this goes back to like set yourself up for some success. Take the time to make that on a Sunday. If you're doing your meal prep, you're cooking some meals for the weekend or for the week. Make sure you're giving yourself a snack too.
Yeah. But do you guys like make anything at home snack wise to replace other things like that, or?
I buy a lot of
I need to do
fruit.
more. I'm excited to do Andy's protein balls. Like I think that's gonna be an awesome snack.
Yeah, they're so good. I should have brought that as a recipe. Well, maybe we'll do that on another episode. The protein balls. That was like they are like they were something that were so good. And
I mean, you basically gave the recipe.
Yeah, I did.
Like during Caitlin's episode. So
Go back and listen
tune into that.
They're so good.
Yeah, I definitely need to like prep some more snacks. I think that'd be super handy just to have a bunch of really healthy options just ready to go. Because like when you want a snack, you want a snack.
You don't want to have to make.
That's
something.
why we grab a bag of chips or a sleeve of Oreos.
It's convenience.
It's there. It's ready to go.
That's a good point. It's back to your whole meal prepping conversation too.
Yeah.
Of just
so my
have a bowl of tomatoes on the counter, ready to go.
That's because they're right there. And the other thing too is to try to make them a little more interesting looking. So like this is actually a tip not from Frank, but actually KT. So Frank's wife. She's got this really cool like a scraper thing I want to call it, or she basically like she can cut. It's like a cutting tool basically, but she cuts the cucumbers and it's got like a zigzag blade, and it's one of those things that like it just looks different and feels different, and so all of a sudden it feels like a better snack. So if you go by and you're in the cooking or like appliance aisles and like knives and stuff, there's these little like it's like a handle, it's got like a wavy blade on it, and she just uses that to chop up the cucumbers, and it gives it a nice little like. It actually holds like hummus better.
Yeah, it changes texture too, for sure.
Like the crinkle fries.
It's like a crinkle fry, but for cucumbers. So that's
awesome.
another like tip or trick.
Crinkle cukes.
Yeah.
You ever done cucumbers with tahini?
Oh yeah. Well, he didn't hear my well.
You weren't here.
Well, you weren't here for it, but that was my thing I had eaten that was weird. Was the salt like bitter or like tart fruit with salt, and it had some honey in it, but like
no, I did hear talk about that.
Like, great. That's actually Caitlin said like tahini. I'm like yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So good.
Sweet. Running out of time here. Any last minute thoughts on snacky things?
This is a good recipe though. That's coming up. I'm really excited about
this. This is one of those snacks that's good for your soul.
It is,
and that's it.
I'll give it a quick shout out. Me and Chris went turkey hunting together a couple of years ago, and Chris brought a bag of this. I won't spoil what it is, but I ate pretty much the entire bag on the way.
So good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is it's not mine. It's my version of my ChexMix. So just a smoky ChexMix. I got the original recipe from my buddy Mitch, and I don't know where he got it, but he tweaked it a little bit, and then I tweaked his. So I can call this mine. Right. I changed more than one ingredient. So it's mine now. So you are going to start with, let's start with the ingredients. Well, but the components of the Chex.
Say more.
Not the sauce. So this can literally be anything. And that's what's phenomenal about ChexMix. Like you can do anything you want. Some things in my mind that are required are some form of like the Chex cereal, like just it holds flavor awesome. It's perfect texture. So I love
rice Chex if you're trying to be
I love
healthy.
rice, and I love the honey nut. It's that salty sweet combo. So I do a mix of rice and honey nut. And basically, so all these ingredients I'm listing off now, you want 2 cups each for a total. I would say average maybe 10 cups of just any random ingredients. So pick 5 of these. I would say, Chex, and I like the mini pretzels, not like the little sticky things, not like the weird squares, like the actual like pretzel
shaped, but they're tiny.
Really cute, but they're so tiny. The tiny ones are perfect. Mini club crackers, 100% needed. So just picture standard club cracker. They sell like little dinky ones.
They're amazing.
Need those. Goldfish, I throw in goldfish. Mixed nuts, a can of mixed nuts will do. I freaking love macadamia, Brazil, all the expensive ones. And you don't get very many of those in
with
the
all
combo
high
can.
Fats.
So, gosh, where was it? Target, or I forget the store I went to, but they literally have containers of all these different nuts. So I got like a full container of macadamia, a full container of Brazil.
Can I insert a little pro tip here?
Yes.
So if you like nuts, and especially the expensive ones, go get them out of the baking aisle.
Okay.
Because they're in bags, and they're actually cheaper per pound because it's the container. It's being sold to you in a marketing format.
Yeah.
So like if you know you like macadamia nuts, Brazil nuts will be there, walnuts, things like that. Yeah. Things that you would commonly bake with. There's another little pro tip, and that's how like when I do my overnight oats, I go to the baking aisle. Don't go to the nut aisle, because those are where there's like a tax for the cool can.
Can you still get like roasted?
Yeah,
ones
there's some in there that are
Okay.
already roasted too. Yeah,
Yeah.
and especially we're going to smoke this, so
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, back to the recipe.
Yeah.
Something else, rye chips are good.
yeah.
I've tried like the big chunks of like sourdough pretzels. That was okay. I like the small pretzels better. Mitch throws in Cheerios. That's a good option. Bugles he's done in the past. One ingredient that I think is 100% necessary, but it changes for me, is something that's airy. So like think of like
You
like
put those weird like I don't know where they are. They're like rice puffs.
I've done a number of things, and this is the one that always changes for me. Like I've done like Lay's had some 3D chips, like just a really big puffy airy chip, or like if you can find the Cheetos paws, it's like a paw, but like it's 99% air, just something big and airy, and it's
Funyun?
100% for the texture. Yeah, a Funyun would be perfect, like that type of chip.
I did
Just
those
something-
Cheetos popcorn things.
Oh yeah, that worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just texture-wise, you're looking to change things up. So the nuts, you've got like a small crunchy aspect. You know, the Chex, you've got kind of like an airy but crunchy, and then with the Cheetos Puff paws, like
Some is soft,
kind of
crunchy.
cheesy, but just like bigger and airy, just a different kind of crunch. So yeah, 5 cups of anything random like that. The fun part is you're going to grab 1 stick of butter and you're going to melt that. A full stick of butter.
For Corey.
You are going to want,
Free for Corey.
depending on how hot you like this, between 2 and 4 tablespoons of hot sauce. We love Tapatio. That's a little spicy for some people, especially when you're doing like 4 tablespoons of it. So your favorite hot sauce, start with 2, and if you want it hotter, just amp it up. I like 4, but I like things a little hot. And then you're going to want a 1/4 cup of your favorite rub. Sweet Preacher by, who makes it? Is it
Fire and Smoke
Fire
Society.
and Smoke Society? Sweet Preacher is phenomenal in this. 1/4 cup of that. You're going to mix all that together, the butter, the hot sauce, the rub. The rub will want to separate, so keep it stirred up. And then drizzle half of that onto your ingredients, your Chex, your pretzels, your club crackers and whatnot. Stir it up. Mix the other, or dump the other half in there. Stir it up. I don't like to just dump it all at once, because
soggy.
especially for things like the really puffy chips, like they soak it up. So sometimes I'll even save the puffy chips to add at the very end.
Right.
Mix that all up. Throw it in like a little tin, like a little baking, like an aluminum baking tray. Throw that on your smoker for 200 degree smoker, high smoke if you have it, for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you're going to stir it every half hour. Mix that up. Bring it inside. You'll kind of be nose blind to it, getting in there, getting in the smoke, stirring it up. So don't eat it straight away. It probably won't taste as good because you're nose blind to all that smoke. Let it cool off. Yeah. Throw it in a Ziploc bag. Oh, it's so good.
It's
so good.
amazing.
But this is one of those snacks you definitely want to put in a tiny little bowl. Just don't take the whole bag.
Addicting.
Because you can just smash and smash and smash.
It's good stuff.
You just won't stop. It's
Good for the
salty,
soul.
Yeah.
A little sweet with the honey nut Chex. And
Yeah.
So tell us your mix up here. I want to know, like, what ingredients are you changing up? How are you making it sweeter? Or are you keeping it salty? I don't know. Let us know.
Love it.
Good to go?
Yeah.
See you later.
Some snacks.